You know, every single problem that we have in life comes from a lack of love, either love for yourself or feeling as though you were unloved in a situation. All of our problems come from the deeply embedded belief that we are actually unlovable. And this creates all kinds of problems. So if we are angry, I want to give you an example of this. This is really interesting. So I worked with someone several years ago, a young child who was very angry, had been very angry for a very long time. This was disrupting things at school, disrupting things in their home life. It was causing a problem. So I'm going to go with the approximation of 8 years old when they came to me, something along those lines. Very angry. So I regressed them back, as I always do. And what came up was a sad situation. This child had lost their, a family member of theirs' dog had passed. And they really liked this dog. And so it caused sadness, right? However, the sadness wasn't dealt with at the time because they're a child. They don't know what they're doing. I think that they were maybe only 3 when this happened. And so it turned them very angry. That sadness turned into anger. Now, here's the good story, that it only took 1 session and this kid wasn't angry anymore. Like, noticed. Like, principal calling home. Holy, what's going on here? They're a totally new kid. You know, now I know some people will bring their children to me and they're afraid that, you know, oh, it's going to change them. It will. But for the better. It's not going to change their personality. It's not going to change who they are as a person. It's just going to help them heal their past trauma. So anyways, the whole point of this was that anger, and this is always the case. We're going to go into this a little deeper. It comes from a feeling of feeling unworthy of love or unlovable or something that was sad and upsetting. This is where anger comes from. So if you know a person who's really angry, they're just really hurt. They're really hurt and they feel really freaking unlovable. They have probably not forgiven themselves for things that they have done in their life. And they are probably holding resentments against other people who did not treat them very good in their life. And this causes this internal chaos and turmoil because we intuitively know, every single one of us, that this is not the way that it's supposed to be. We know that we're supposed to be living in that place of love, that we're supposed to be living in heaven on earth. And this is why it is so extremely upsetting when that's not the case, when that's not what we're experiencing, because we're just on earth here with a bunch of people who are hurt and hurting, and they feel unloved. And so they're spreading that virus to other people. The mental poison they spread to other people. So, have you guys ever seen that movie Interstellar? So the whole purpose of this movie, if you haven't seen it, I'm totally ruining it for you. Anyways, you gotta watch it. I mean, Matthew McConaughey's in it, so ladies, tune in. Anyways, and Anne Hathaway, you know what? This was shocking to me, but she's a thing. So, guys, tune in. Anyways, this movie, at one point in it, they go into experience this place where it allows them to go through time and space. And it is realized upon this happening, you know, they're out in outer space. It's realized upon this happening that the universe is composed of love, and that there's kind of this special element to it that allows you to go through space and time purely based on that element of love. Which I know from the Enlightenment experiences, this series of enlightenments that have come to me, and that come to me every time that a healing or something like this will be performed, is that is 100% true, and that it really is just love. That is what is being witnessed when somebody experiences a miraculous healing, air quotes with the miraculous healing, because it's not miraculous. It is just a display of the love that is here in the universe, that's readily and always available if you believe in it. Anyways, so if someone is very angry, and they're, they like to blame other people for things, and they like to project, this person is doing this based solely on themselves. And so the things that they will, blame other people for, that they will say about other people, is purely about themselves. And they're holding this internal resentment against themselves because they believe that they're not lovable. And so this causes so much chaos. So why do we do this? Well, first of all, if we're using anger rather than just allowing yourself to be sad, like, right, you want to be bummed out all the time, you want to be Eeyore? No, nobody wants that. That feels terrible. Whereas anger feels a bit more like you're in control, right? There's a physically in your body, if you think about the difference between sadness, right? It's very depressing and sad and depletes your energy, and anger causes tension in your body, and can allow you to feel like somehow you're in control of something. So often people choose this because they see sadness as a weak emotion, and they see anger as a powerful emotion, which is, in the way that I just explained it, that is true, but it's not. So let me go into this deeper. So sometimes this will affect women, right? If you meet a woman and she has got an attitude, sometimes she uses this because it makes her feel powerful, and the only reason why she would be doing that is because at some point in her life she was really hurt, really treated, she was unloved, and so now she's like, oh, that is never happening again. And so she puts up this defensive wall that makes her come across as this cold and cruel woman. I'm sure you all know one of them. But this is all based on a feeling of hurt. Now, the reason why she's doing this is through self-protection, and it's because she sees expressing her emotions as a weakness. She sees this as that because at some point in her life she expressed her emotions and she was attacked for it in some way, or told not to feel that way. Perhaps she was really sad because, somebody treated her really bad. Women are emotional creatures. So perhaps something happened in childhood and she was sad, and she was told, no, you can't be sad about this. And, perhaps her emotions were forced to be shut off, or she saw it as weakness. I need to be stronger than this. And so the example that she had in her life perhaps was a very angry example, perhaps more than likely a father. Not necessarily, though. Women can be just the same, angry. But she sees this as an example, and if that is the person who's the leader in the house, or the perceivable leader, because sometimes that's how it goes, the angriest person wins, right? Because we're afraid of them, so they're in control of our household. Then they, by example, take on this characteristic themselves, even though their soul is not an angry soul. Nobody's is. So if you're like a really angry person, or a really sad person, or really whatever it is, you're not that. You're not that. Something has happened, and so it's caused your human body to feel this. But all you need to do is heal that. I know it seems so easy, right? All you need to do is heal it, but it's true. Heal whatever caused this, and then that emotion won't be ruling your life. It won't be in control of you anymore. You will be in control of it. So if you are an angry person, or if you have been controlled by an angry person, or if you have an angry person in your life, just know that it is sadness. It is sadness, and it is the belief that they are unlovable. That's what you're witnessing. That's what you're experiencing. That's what that chaos is all about. A lack of love. It does a lot of damage. Now, we don't all take on this angry form. Some of us can take on the victim role, and maybe perhaps then we're going to be depressed. And so then we carry this depression within us because we're constantly telling ourselves, I'm not worthy of love. I'm a failure. I deserved all these horrible things that have happened to me because I suck as a person. Whatever it is, whatever the story is that you're telling yourself, first of all, it's not true. You've made it true, but it's not true. These things that happened in your life are the best, most wonderful gifts. What was that saying? I don't know who said it. All I remember is seeing Forrest Gump sitting on a bench with a box of chocolates. Maybe it was Mother Teresa. But what the quote is someone once handed me a box full of darkness, and it took me years to realize that too was a gift. It's true. Our suffering, the hard, unloved periods of our life that we have gone through, if you heal them, are your greatest gift. If you remain unhealed, you will continue to blame people. You will be in chaos. You will not have peace within yourself. This is how you know if you're healed. If you can look back on the past and be thankful for all of the things, then you've healed from it. I look back at every single situation that I've been through, even current, present ones. I'm already thankful for the lessons that I'm learning and the things that I'm never going to put up with again. The strength that I got from going through things and realizing exactly what it is that I want and not settling for anything less, because why would I do that? It's never going to happen. So when we look at our life and we can take all of the things that we've gone through as gifts, it changes our perception about them completely, and it changes us as people, and we become more compassionate, we become more understanding, we grow, we actually become better people because of it. Now, if I wanted to look back on my life and look at all of the things that I had done to myself over the years, being a drug addict, whatever, all the things, and then crap on myself like I did for years about it, what does that do? Oh, it drags down my value, it makes me think like, oh, well, I guess I deserve this crappy treatment from this person. I guess I deserve to live in a household with a rageaholic. I guess I deserve all the, what I'm talking about? We put up with so much. We don't even know that we're doing it, but we put up with so much. We ignore red flags that we're seeing, and we just put up with it because we're not healed. And as long as we remain unhealed, we will damage people from that space. But as soon as we heal ourselves, we aren't going to do that anymore. We are aware of the chaos, perhaps, that existed in the past, and we don't want nothing to do with that anymore in the future. So we're setting up boundaries. We are making hard lines of, no, this is what I want, and this is unacceptable, and if this is not okay with you, you're out. And as we set up those hard boundaries, we might end up spending a whole lot more time alone. But here's the blessing in it, and some people don't like to be alone. I love it. It's a wonderful gift, being by yourself, and if you don't feel that way, there's healing that needs to be done. Yes, we're very social creatures. I'm not saying go and hibernate and forever and never come out. We need people. But if you've never had a period of your life where you were alone, do it. Get to like yourself. If you can spend time with yourself and like yourself, then you're going to be, if ever you did want a partner in the future, you're going to be a better partner because you're not going to be codependent on somebody else. You'll be happy within yourself, not looking for someone else to make you happy, because that's impossible. Yes, people can add to our life. Yes, they can bring more joy and excitement and happiness into our life. But if we don't have that within us first, nobody can bring that to us. And if it is dependent upon, well, when this person's around, I feel this way, and when they're not, I don't feel this way, then you need to work on yourself so that you can feel that same good, uplifted feeling when you're with somebody else. Otherwise, what you're doing is taking their uplifted energy. If you only feel that way when you're around somebody else, you are going to deplete them completely of their energy, and they're going to leave eventually. Or they're not going to be able to shine so bright anymore because they're going to be dragged down by your energy, and it's going to start to affect them. And it's going to start to take their magic away, and you don't want that. Because that's some kind of bad karma that you'll have to deal with. So if you want to add and have love, wonderful love in your life, you can have it in all areas of your life, but it begins with yourself. It begins by forgiving yourself for things that you've done in the past. I know it's difficult to forgive yourself. Been there, done that. We can blame ourselves for things. So here's my example. It was, so being younger, being a drug addict. I was addicted to cocaine for a while there. And so I was like, oh man, I don't ever want my children to find out about this, that what a bad thing that would be. And so I went through years of just like, oh, how have I done this? So much regret. Why did I do that? Because at some point my kids are going to find out. And then through healing it and through realizing, like, man, I got a story to tell. And people who then come to me for help, I've not had the exact same story as them, but I've been through similar things to them. And so I'm so understanding and compassionate. And if I had not experienced that for myself, I don't know that I would have been able to help these people in the same way that I can help them, or have been able to over the years. And so now I don't care about nothing. I don't care what people think about me. Like, on a scale of 1 to 10, I care minus 15. And if you know me, you know I'm weird, uniquely different. And you'll know this, that I don't care. I'm gonna dance how I wanna dance. I'm gonna say what I wanna say. And if people don't like it, that has nothing to do with me. It has zero to do with me, because I'm not going to harm anybody. I'm not going to speak bad about anybody. I'm not going to deplete anybody's energy. I give. So I know that what I am putting out, the karma that will come back to me, is good and wonderful. It's a wonderful gift that I have given to myself through my own healing and through my own hurt and overcoming that, and the perceivable, air quotes, failures of the past, because there's no such thing. I'm thankful for it. But if I happen to be the type of person who cared what thoughts other people think inside their heads, and if I cared what other people said about me, I wouldn't have this podcast. I wouldn't be able to do any of the things that I want to become a hypnotist. I wouldn't become any of the things that I am now if I cared what people thought. So this is really detrimental. If you are the type of person that's like, oh, well, what will these people think? Why are you giving them your power? Why are you giving them your power? Take it back. It's yours. That's not theirs. Why are you giving it to them? That causes chaos and destruction in your life when you give your power over to other people. Don't do it. If you are passionate about something, anything, doesn't matter what it is, and somebody tells you, oh, don't do that, that is about them and it has nothing to do with you. And why would you open your mouth and tell somebody something just for them to crap on it? That's not your people. Get them out of your environment today, immediately. They don't support you. Recognize what's really happening in your life. And recognize that even somebody else telling you don't do this, don't grow in this way or that way, is them afraid. And it has to do with love, right? They believe, people subconsciously believe if you grow, and they're not, you're going to leave them. They're right. It's true. That is how it goes. And so underlying their issue of telling you, oh, don't do this passionate pursuit that you have. Don't go do that thing. What if it fails? What if it doesn't work out? All the things, whatever it is that they're telling you, it is 100% about them, and it has nothing to do with you. They are afraid of perhaps you leaving them and them no longer receiving that bit of love that you provide for them in their life. It is them believing that their own failures are the same as what other people have. They'll say, oh, I'm just trying to protect you. No, they're not. They're trying to protect themselves. But all of it comes from fear, which is the opposite of love, right? You can only have two. You can only have two things. You have either fear or you have love, and you live in one space or the other. And sometimes we go back and forth 15 times in 1 minute, back and forth. From fear to love to fear to love to fear to love. Think about, I'm sure you have an example of that you could think of I want to do this, but I don't know, but I really, feel this way, but I'm not sure. Fear to love, fear to love, fear to love, fear to love. And you got to just choose one road and pick it and only live in it, and your life will change and go from chaos to peace. Because you can't send out, meaning think. You can't think thoughts that are not in alignment with divine love and expect to have divine love returned back to you. That's not how it works. It's impossible. It's impossible. Through the laws of cause and effect, through electromagnetism, what you send out is returned back to you in the exact same frequency that you sent it out. So if you are sending out something super fearful of, okay, well, I want to do this thing, oh, but I'm afraid to do it, and you are feeding the fear, you are going to get back that same amount, that same percent of fear-based energies back to you. Do you want that? Obviously you don't. Otherwise you wouldn't be listening to this. The way to overcome that is to trust in the divine's love. And I know that this sounds like, what? Trust in that when it has nothing to do with this situation? It does. It has everything to do with that situation. If you truly believed in the divine love, more than you believe in good and evil, more than you believe in right, wrong, and bad and good, and all the things, your life would be completely different. If you really just believed in the love of the divine, anytime that you wanted something, anytime that you needed something, you would just ask for it and it would be given to you. It would be given to you just like that. Because you asked and you believe in the love of the divine. Now, if you don't believe in the love of the divine, and I'm going to talk about it here for a minute so you can understand what I'm talking about. Everything in the universe, every single thing in the universe has purposefulness. There's nothing, not even the mosquitoes, I know, we're like, what, right? Why are these guys here? Every single thing has purposefulness within our universe. There is nothing, there is absolutely nothing that could be deemed lacking in purpose in this universe. There's nothing. It all has purpose. This alone speaks to intelligence, right? How is it just so miraculously that everything just happens to have purpose. Right down to the weight of the bones that birds have so that they can fly. And the feathers that protect their bodies. There is nothing that does not have purpose. And when we really look and really explore everything that is here in our universe and know, okay, well, there has to be some intelligent consciousness that is tying this all together. And because it all has purpose, it all has meaning, it all therefore has importance, including yourself. What is this purpose? And when you look how lovingly everything is cared for in the universe, every single thing, the animals, they have exactly what they need to provide and to live a perfectly happy and wonderful life. All of their needs are met. Everything here in this universe is cared for. Now here's the deal. Why? Why is everything so perfectly cared for? Why is there so much purposefulness in everything? It's because our universe was created with love. But our universe was created through loving consciousness. Conscious awareness. Loving, conscious awareness. Let me explain what that means. When you were little and something hurts you, when you're told no, or a parent is mean to you, or a parent doesn't love you properly, this hurts you deeply. It hurts you so deeply because you know that the purpose of us being here is only love. And when something counteracts that, it causes pain within you. It causes pain within you because you intuitively know that it's wrong. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel like the divine loving place where you came from. So it hurts. But because we're humans and we have parents that tell us, this is the way that it is now. Now you need to suffer because this world is a cruel place and it's not going to get any easier. I'm just trying to toughen you up for this cruel world. And you think, what, it is? Okay. And so you prepare, you expect, and you believe in that lie. Because that's what your parents experienced. So they passed the lie down to you, and it's not a lie to them. And it's not a lie because you're living it, but it is a lie, contradictory to the universal laws of what is supposed to be. This is why it's so painful. This is why anything that happens in your life that causes hurt or pain is so hurtful and painful, because we know it's contradictory to the universal laws and to the purpose of us being here on earth, which is to get back into alignment with that divine love while we're here on earth. And everything that's contradictory to it hurts us, and it feels awful, and it feels terrible. And if we want to live in that place, it's our choice. We have free will. We're allowed to do that. But our free will is our mind. And what you allow your mind to indulge in, fearful-based thoughts that are contradictory to love, I gotta stop saying that word. When you allow it, our universe is created with the exact same consciousness as your thoughts, and therefore, what you think, what your thoughts are, manifest in your world and become your reality. This is why when you have fearful-based thoughts and you think, oh, I hope this doesn't happen. Well, that happened before. Well, I hope they get better. Well, I hope that this doesn't think. But you know, I don't know. listen to the lack of faith that is there in a statement like that. That is what you'll get back. You'll get back exactly that. You'll get back that, I don't know, all right, I guess the worst thing that I thought was going to possibly happen, well, it just happened, done again. I knew I was right. You weren't right. You created it. Because your mind power is your consciousness, and that consciousness is what our world is made of. Consciousness. You are the creator. You're not a victim of anything. If something happened when you were younger in your life, this is more than likely, if you were a very young child, from a past life, karma from a past life. You asked for it. Just like I came back here needing to forgive my father from a past life that I had. So what has to happen? He has to do something that's going to cause me to have to forgive him in this life. That's how it works. So he's not this cruel, horrible man that, done this thing to me. No, it was necessary. It was needed. We arranged it before I ever even was here, because we had a karmic deal and it needed to be healed and resolved here in this life so we could learn the lesson, which I'm guessing his lesson is probably self-forgiveness. Maybe forgiving me. I wasn't always the nicest to him because I didn't put it up with it. I was a bit of a back talker when I was a kid. If he told me something and it didn't make any sense, I wasn't gonna put up with it. And having that as a daughter, maybe he was resentful. Maybe he needed to learn to forgive me. I don't know. But I'm certain he needed to forgive himself. We're not victims of these things. Yes, I had, all of these situations that came up in my life, but I was not a victim of them at that time. If I had the time to sit around and be a victim of it, maybe I would have been, but that wasn't the case. It was muster up and move on and become stronger because of this, because we don't got time to wallow in the self-pity, because that doesn't do any good for anybody or anything. But I was very, very angry when my husband betrayed me. Very angry. I felt like a fool, like I was embarrassed. I couldn't even believe that this person that I thought was not who they were, this man who I thought I loved, which I did back then, what a thing. Man, that was hard to go through. That was honestly the hardest thing I've ever experienced in my life. It took me down. 6 months. I didn't even want to live, did not want to be here anymore. I didn't want to leave the house. I didn't want to go to the grocery store. For me to not want to go shopping, something extreme is going on. I didn't want to run into anybody. I didn't want to have to explain myself how I thought I had this perfect marriage, and come to find out, no, I didn't. And all my friends thought I had this perfect one too, because that's how I talked about it. So it was shocking to all of us. But in my mind, I had seen him doing what he ended up doing. I had seen it for years. I had seen it. You cannot indulge in these lower thoughts, these lower fears, and expect to get something good back. No. You get what you put out with your thoughts. So if you're putting ones out that are bringing yourself down, you will then have experiences that are going to prove that to you over and over and over again. If you think, I'm a failure at this and I can't do whatever happens to be, whatever you think about yourself, whatever you're putting out there, it will be returned back to you 1 million billion trillion %. You can't, it's unavoidable. So stop doing that to yourself. You're not doing yourself any favors in believing that your importance and your value and your worthiness is so low, attracts equal things to that, to you, back to you. So when I left my marriage there, I had forgiven him and this and that, but you then have to get used to the real world again here, right? When you're with somebody for 20, 18, 19, I don't even know how many years. I don't even care. You take yourself out of the world and you have to enter it then in a new and different way. And you got to realize and you got to navigate things and you got to figure out what it is that you do want. You certainly know what it is that you do not want. And through that and through subsequent situationships, whatever they happen to be over the past year, I've extra realized what it is that I do not want, that I will not put up with, and that I will never settle for. Because what I want is something that is only love-based and not fear-based at all. That's all that I will accept in my life. And so if the people in my life are not in alignment with that, they can't be part of my life. You have to be able to sustain yourself. You have to be able to sustain yourself by yourself, with yourself. And then you have to become so very aware of the energies that you allow into your life, and if they are not of that same equal vibration and frequency, then you must be very careful how long you allow yourself to be exposed to these energies so that it does not deplete you. But I will tell you this, the only thing that depletes you is your thoughts. It is the only thing. This is why you can go and you can have a workout and you could do all these kinds of things. Maybe you work really, really hard physically and by the end of the day, you're exhausted. But typically, our exhaustion comes from stress, from overthinking, and you can have a day and you could be just exhausted by the end of the day and you haven't done one physical thing. This is because our thoughts are energy, and that energy depletes our body when we're not using it in the proper way. If it's not in alignment with love, we are going to be exhausted by the end of a day. How many times do you go back and forth from fear to love throughout a normal day? Probably many, many times, right? How many times do you go back and forth complaining? Notice what that frequency is. Oh, I don't want to have to go do that. Oh, I got to go do that. That kind of attitude. What does that do? That brings you back more of that. Do you want that? I don't want that. No. So now, you get an invitation. Do you want to go do this? Do you really want to go do it? Does the thought of it make you feel good and uplifted and like, oh, I'm going to have fun? If it does, yes, go do it. And if not, don't do it. Do what it is that makes your heart sing. And if you don't got something, then you need to get rid of a whole bunch of things that don't make your heart sing so that you can make room for things that do. And you might say, well, I can't get rid of anything. Yes, you can. If you feel like you're stuck, you're not stuck. Been there, man. I thought I was stuck. I thought I was stuck in that marriage for the rest of my freaking life. Was I? No, absolutely not. And the day that I realized that, I was out of there. But sometimes we believe that we're stuck with certain people or places or things, and we are absolutely not. We are absolutely not. It is only our mind that is tricking us into believing this. And it is our mind, this is our free will, is our consciousness. It is our mind. The same thing that the universe is made of, our consciousness. And when we use it for detrimental things, fear-based energy beliefs, fear-based frequencies, we will have more and more and more of them return back to us. This will be a never-ending cycle that you have for the rest of your life if you don't heal it. You have to choose. There's just a choice between fear and love, and you just have to choose. And then you have to apply it to every single area that you have. Okay, so your job, you're not making as much money as you want to. What fear-based energies are attached to it? What's the worst case scenario? Well, things are slowing down. This is going to happen. And you're creating it. You're creating it. And it is through your fear, through your mind, which you're allowing to happen. That fear-based energy, you have it. You're holding it in your body. You're holding it in your energetic system. And it's manifesting in your world because your consciousness creates everything. So when you let go of that, just like I helped a client do the other day, get rid of any of those fear-based energies, all of a sudden she feels like a completely and totally different person. And anytime that I'll do this for someone, this is my example, is money. I worked with someone a couple years ago, and she wrote this wonderful testimonial of all the wonderful free things that she got that next week, all the checks that came in the mail, and that she made $20,000 more that year than she had ever made. For the previous 20 years, she was stuck at a set point of only making a certain amount. Broke through that through belief. Made an extra 20 grand that year, like within the last 3 months that were left in the year. So everything is belief. And if you want to choose to live in a fear-based reality, then that's your choice. And you're going to get things that feel like that, fear-based, coming back to you. But if you want to live in a love-based reality, then you're going to get that back. I live in a love-based reality. And what did I tell you guys the other day? That I was getting all kinds of offers. Well, I got another one yesterday. Why? Because I live in love. And I know that the divine loves me so much, loves you equally, just as much, loves everyone just as much. It is only us that put the barrier between ourselves and that love. It's only us, and this is through all past trauma, all unhealed things, all unforgiveness, all seeing ourselves as a victim of what happened in the past instead of seeing it as the beautiful gift that it is. That box of darkness, it is the gift. And when you're going through it, it sucks, man. It sucks. Been there. It sucks. And especially if you're a woman and you're tuning into this and you're hard, if you're living in the fear-based energies and not in the love and you're kind of cruel, it's a difficult thing to start to experience emotions other than anger and, that basically unfeeling. You know what I mean? The feeling, well, whatever, that kind of attitude. It's difficult because when you start feeling the sad emotions, the hurt and the trauma from the past, that pain that's there that you never let yourself feel, that you hardened yourself to so you wouldn't have to experience it because at the time you had to, because it was so traumatic and awful for you. It sucks when you start to heal that because you will start to feel those pains. But here's the thing, it works both ways. Once you heal that, you will be able to experience actual love, and you've never felt it before. I guarantee you, if you are that woman, that type of woman that I'm talking about, you've never felt it. You've never experienced it before. If you don't heal that, you never will. Same with a man. You want to be a man that wants to, this is the type of person I am. I don't feel my emotions. I this, I that. Same for you. It's going to suck when you actually allow yourself to feel it, but then you're actually going to be able to feel the feeling of love. And you've never felt it. You think you have not. It works both ways. So if you can allow yourself to go this far down on this way, then the same goes for the other side. It all equals out. You can only experience what you open yourself up to. And it is through healing those traumatic beliefs that you've gained through your life and healing those traumatic incidents that happened in the past that set you free. This is what I help people do. We will heal freaking 7-8 past traumas in one session. We'll just go and we'll go from one to the next, to the next, to the next, and we'll heal it and we'll heal it. And we do this at a subconscious level. And it's done such deep work, such deep soul work that yes, you feel different after that first session. As soon as I snap my fingers and tell you to open your eyes, you're like, oh, wow. And everybody got a smile on their face. Everybody's breathing deeper, feeling lighter, saying, I should have done this 30 years ago. You're right, but we didn't know. It didn't know it was the thing back then, so just do it now because that's the only choice you got. but it will change your life. And if you don't want to do private sessions and get through it real fast and you want to do the work yourself, go check out the Mental Cleanse series. I made it just for y'all. Anyways, thanks for tuning in here today. Go out and live in love. Here's a nice little exercise you could imagine. Beautiful, beautiful, divine love just raining down on every single person that you meet, including yourself. First of all, put yourself in that beautiful bubble of divine love and just imagine it spreading to every single person that you meet. Maybe you spread it through your eyes when you look at them and smile. Maybe you just spread it through your smile. Maybe you just spread it through your aura, whatever it is. Just imagine yourself taking that love, spreading it throughout the world, because you're unique, you're awesome, you're important, and you really matter. And your well-being matters. It matters. You need to be well. It matters. So heal the past trauma. Start living in love. And it's baby steps. Just do a little bit. Just do a little bit. You did a little bit. By listening to this here today, you already done a little bit, because you had things come to your mind over this that are going to be helpful to you. Anyways, I love y'all. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you guys. I guess I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care.